Aloha, friends and family. Trying to see what it's showing me for time. I can't hardly see my screen. It's real bright out here. But pull up a chair in the shade here. And we'll have a little chat. I've been thinking a lot about imagination again. Because isn't everything seemingly designed to stimulate our imaginations? And I think this holds true inside and outside the matrix. So outside the matrix, we have nature. And nature is wonderful for stimulating the imaginations, right? And everything is considered nature, everything natural. So the sky, the ground, the plants, the trees, the animals. Speaking of which, there's Squirrely. She just popped up over here. I don't think you can see her. So all that stimulates our imagination. And before the Matrix was a pseudo-reality, that's what man primarily used. So he was imagining, contemplating all things based off of that inspiration that he derived from nature. And then there's the Matrix. And the Matrix is a huge distraction for the imagination, because it says, come over here into this world and imagine all these things. All what things? Because most of these things you're going to imagine are not direct experiences. So you didn't experience them directly, but you might have seen them portrayed through a movie or a commercial or a video or a news report or somebody just relaying it to you verbally. And so both of these worlds of imagination are vying for your ever-present moment. It wants to occupy and will occupy my every moment. Because we're coming to find out that our world is largely created and perceived because of and through the imagination. And that we're co-creating all of these happenings, all of these experiences. And they're quite different. The experiences and the imaginings of the natural world are very different than those of the Matrix. Most people being scarcely aware that there is even a distinction. not realizing that their imagination has been captured. Now, this is not to say that everybody's imagination that has been captured is, being devious or dubious. Because once you go into the Matrix, you're captured. You're in it, but you may not be consciously dubious or devious with what you're doing in it with your imagination. You just don't realize you've been caught or captured. But in any event, it does render you pretty much powerless. Because powerless in the sense of you're no longer at the helm of your imagination. Like I said, that's very much involved with creating what your reality is to become. Whereas the man that's using nature and all things natural to then simulate or emulate the creativity and the creative process and the obvious love and all things good that went into nature, or we could say original creation, that which is most familiar to us. You see, if you're getting all your imaginative power and faculty and thoughts through that channel, this channel, you're going to have a much more satisfactory experience here than if you've been captured in the Matrix, knowingly or unknowingly, because it doesn't care whether you're aware of where your imaginings are coming from and whether they're truly yours, being divinely directed by you, the director. Then we're just being vicariously used to imagine things that then co-create things, and this is what perpetuates the Matrix. This is what keeps it going. Because not everybody, but all the people that are willingly participating in that form of imagining, see, it's all just, again, it's this whole thing is designed to capture the imagination, because the imagination holds the key and the power to what is created. To what comes about, which ultimately, individually, ends up being our personal experiences. So if you look at the Matrix, nobody's really having a good experience from what I see. Maybe you can inform me, but it seems to me that everybody in the Matrix is having a terrible experience. They are in cycles that they just repeat. And again, the moment has been stolen. Their every moment has been stolen. And this puts some sort of a psychosis, I'm going to say, some level of psychosis on all the people that are in this Matrix. Because they can never get release. They can never get that release. They can never feel that freedom. They can never experience the true moment Where again, if we're talking about someone in nature, someone in higher consciousness, someone that's in tune with the original blueprint, they're not carrying that burden. But everybody in the Matrix is carrying this burden of not being able to release the burden, not being able to have a moment's freedom from its all-encompassing grip. And I think if they could just realize that it's your imagination that's been captured, and you're now thinking things in your mind repetitively. You're thinking in patterns. You're thinking in programmed patterns that are all based on, negativity for the most part. Bad things. Things of fear, things of worry, things of just negativity, just negative. That's the best word, negative. They're just negative things. And so if the imagination is doing nothing but spinning in loops of negativity, clearly that's some form of capturing of a person, of their free will even. So our thoughts become our imaginings. In other words, based on, let us say, 24 hours of thought. If we condense 24 hours of your thought and we put whatever was accumulated into the imagination, which is where, again, our co-creation is coming from, our experience is going to come from, what would that 24 hours of thoughts produce through your imagination into your reality? And then we could just extrapolate out. What if we took a week of thoughts? What if we took a month of thoughts? What if we took, for some people, an entire year of thinking all the thoughts that the Matrix makes available, and then we looked at what was co-created or created or came about when all of that year's worth of thoughts was put into the imagination, filtered through the imagination into actual literal experience. And it works both ways. We're just kind of looking at the negative side because I think we're all trying to solve this matrix, solve this puzzle, crack this shell. So let's look at the positive side of it too, because that's the side that hopefully you're all on, I'm on, and we're just waiting and wanting for the people in the Matrix to, break free. And so let's examine, like a mountain man that's out in the woods and living, self-sufficient, and what were his thoughts for 1 year of time? And let's say he wasn't, he wasn't tuned into the Matrix. He didn't watch TV. He didn't look at video after video. He just lived in nature, tended to his garden and whatever else was needed to be self-sustained. And lived a simple, what people would say, that's a very simple lifestyle. It's simple compared to being in a Matrix lifestyle. Yeah, it doesn't have all the insanity of the Matrix, but go try to live it. It's not so simple, right? So what does simple mean? What are we meaning when we say that that's a simple life? It's been used as sort of a derogatory way of putting people that appreciate a simpler life and are not oohing and awing about stuff of the Matrix, because again, it's all just distractions. It's all just meant to capture you, and then once it captures you, you give it your thoughts, and your thoughts filter through your imagination, and here's your reality. So when we look at the guy in the woods there, a year's worth of his thoughts, we see that he's actually growing. See, he's actually expanding in his consciousness. He's actually having amazing, wonderful, cool experiences. He's not caught up with the system and all of its tentacles. And so he actually has some wisdom. He could actually give some knowledge. And we would say, this is someone who is emulating the original design of what the imagination. See, because when we come into this world, and let's just say we knew coming in beyond a shadow of a doubt. See, some of us we still don't believe it fully now, but we're coming to. Some probably still don't believe it at all, even though they would like to, that we create our realities, right? So let's say when we first came in, we knew that. And so what was around us? What did the Creator, what kind of environment did the Creator place us in, or manifest? We could say it either way. I like manifest better because I think it's closer to the truth. What kind of environment manifested as the Creator imagined us? And here we are, the imagined ones, in this world of nature, with so many things to explore, so many things to discover, so many you just have the whole spectrum of everything. Flowers, plants, medicinal, animals, insects, birds, the sky, the stars, the sun, everything. But what we can take away from it is it's profoundly inspirational, right? It's profoundly inspirational. This environment that the Creator manifested us into. And see, if we just carried forward with that profoundness of how amazing this is, and co-created and had thoughts that would filter through the imagination and then continue the process of this amazing creation and creating and imagining, right? That it would be amazing. It will be, because again, all this is a matter of getting on that track. See, getting out of the matrix and back onto the original track. Once we do that, now we're on track. Now we're on that track. Now we can fully know and expect and imagine the future, whether in this life or beyond this, what we call this life. But there's really only one life. You're eternal. It just has beginning and endings until finally we got beyond that to just a beginning that never ended. See, that's what we're approaching. We're approaching the beginning that never ends. And first we have to imagine it. Again, and we're not imagining some other world, right? We're not imagining some imaginary place, someplace else or whatever. We're imagining using the faculty of imagination in this world and imagining this world, this life, this present moment forward. So it's not an escape thing, even though you escape the matrix fully by just escaping it, getting out of it, getting back on track. And so this must be a challenge, I'm guessing. This must be a challenge out there in the world of people to be able to so-called stay up to date. See, eventually we're going to get past this thing of, well, we got to stay up to date on the matrix. Even though we're out of it, we left it, we don't agree with it, but are we still captured in it, actually? Possibly. And so how much mental capacity and subsequent imagination is still captured with any single one of us? And do we believe that there's total escape? Like in this life, in this, what we call this world, can a person fully escape the matrix? Do we believe that? I believe that. I fully believe that. And I wouldn't even try to guess to what degree myself or anyone else is in regards to how much escape have they actually escaped. But I'm just going with the, again, imagination. I'm imagining that we can fully escape. I'm imagining that we can fully be free. And I'm imagining it in this life, in this present moment. And I'm seeing a lot of contrary information to that. And our struggle is not being affected by that. Not falling into doubt. Not second guessing that which we have come to know. And that's not so easy. Day to day, hour to hour, month to month, year to year. And that's why we do need, other people that are, if you feel like you've gotten out of it or you want to get out of it, you need to be around and talking to and dealing with people that are also out of it. And if that's not possible, just being to yourself, or being with nature, or we could say being with God. Just step away from that matrix, even if it's just in your own bedroom or whatever. And just be with God, be with yourself. And in spirit and in mind and in imagination, you're with all the other people, right? We're all together on this, with this. We're all here for each other. We're all supporting each other. Even if we're in our own bedroom in the middle of a crowded city with lots of noise and distraction and craziness, right? Again, you have to just make the decision and then give your imagination free rein in that space. And in that bedroom, you will find that you are with God and you are with all the people of God, of the Creator, of nature, of the manifestor, of the original imaginer. Okay, because that's who God is. If we're going to try to put distinctions on who and what God is the original imaginer that imagined us. We are his imagination, or her, or their. Because again, it's a co-creation. Everything seemingly, once this imagination of creation started getting hold, started catching on, it became man and woman, male and female, doe and a buck, mother and father, sun and moon, day and night. And they say, as above, so below. And what that's meaning to me is, we know there's this higher world, right? We perceive this higher world of God, of godliness, of everything good. And it's a parable of you that are upon the earth, or the lower world, if we might call it that. Imagine the same way there that you imagine that you would imagine in that higher world above. As above, so below. So imagine the same way that you did, in fact, do, in fact, imagine in the higher world, in the lower world. And the lower world will no longer be the lower world. It'll be your present moment. And it'll be one of all things good, just like above. Love, unity, and light, my friends. As always, and in spite of all the contrary information, I'm imagining wonderful, good things for this world. Not just for me, not just for us, not just for the United States, not just for humans, because I include all the animals. They're all affected by the humans. All of nature, it's all affected by the humans. But I'm imagining good, positive. And it's a lot, man. It's a lot to get somebody to realize they've been captured in the Matrix and then want to get out. Because wanting to get out and getting out is two different things. Realizing you're in it, but then truly escaping it is two different things. Because it's so all-encompassing. Everything in that Matrix is covered with a substance that just sticks to you and then sticks you to everything Matrix. And to really truly get out of it, man, is something. But I think the light definitely is the kryptonite that makes that sticky substance on people, that sticks them and holds them in that matrix. The light, dissolves it. It's always their choice, You would be more able to escape it if you didn't have all the sticky substance all over you. So one can shed light on it, remove the sticky substance, but then the person still has to make the choice to escape the matrix. But that would be the opportune moment to do so. So we just keep shining the light and being the light and making those opportunities available. And then people are going to do what they're going to do. Until next time, my beautiful friends and family.